Welcome to the Galvanize with Gavin podcast. This is your host, baseball player and entrepreneur, Gavin Johns. This podcast will empower you to reach your fullest potential in life. Inspirational stories, keys to success, and practical methods to overcome life's challenges will be revealed. I encourage you to be the light in the lightning and spark a positive change in the world today. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the Galvanize with Gavin podcast. Today we have a very special guest on, one of my friends from UCLA, played football at UCLA. He has a master's of science in nursing. He's a registered nurse. He's one of the most positive guys I've been around. And, even though, we're not, spending too much time together, because we're both doing our thing in our career, that, I see him from afar and he's doing great things. Just super encouraged to have him on. He's had experience working in Children's Hospital in Orange County and currently working at Rady's Children's Hospital in San Diego in the pediatrics unit as a travel nurse. So a lot of great things going from my man. Welcome on special guest, Roosevelt Rose Davis. Thanks for coming on, my man.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Absolutely. So I wanted to take it back to UCLA, right? We met each other there. When I was playing baseball, you were doing your thing for football. I wanted to ask you, how UCLA, that experience there set you up for success in your career now, that transition.
Oh, man. So UCLA definitely set me up there. For where I'm at now, I don't think that I would have gotten into nursing or gotten into the profession that I'm in right now because without being at UCLA. I'd say that transition was a little rocky. I would say I went through a mid-college crisis. About my junior year, I got a couple concussions and I was hurt, and I was like, wow, this athlete stuff, my whole life, this is all I really know. But what if this doesn't last forever, Yeah. And my coach, Coach Moore, shout out, he actually was preaching about life on and off the field. And so that's when I started paying attention to what would I do outside of football. And at first I was like, shoot, I don't.
Yeah.
Finance, business, I don't want to work in an office. But I told myself I didn't want to work in a office 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. That just wasn't for me if football didn't work out.
Yeah.
So long story short, went through some ups and downs, but started talking to a lot of people. Actually started paying attention to the people who are around me at UCLA. At UCLA, there's so many networks and so many opportunities that I didn't realize that we were just walking past. There's so many powerful people, powerful connections that you can make at UCLA or honestly any university that you're at. You just have to pay attention and tap into that. So I started to do that. And even my family, they said, hey, go check out these, they're like little career fairs, I think career conferences or career fairs, where they host different jobs and stuff like that where you can ask questions. First thing I said was, I'm not going to that. I'm not doing that. And my dad actually encouraged me. He said, hey, just go one time, and let's say if you don't go, if you go and you don't like it, then you can go every time. I said, whatever, I'll go. So I went, and there was this booth for registered nurses. I was like, we'll walk over here and see what's up. They started talking about, the profession, the career, what people do, how you learn, all these things like that, helping people. I was like, this is kind of cool. So,
jiving with it.
yeah. So then I really kind of got the information into the fire. And then just fast forward, I realized that a lot of my classes kind of matched up with a lot of the prerequisites that I already had. So I was like, okay, cool. And I needed another year and a half to apply to the master's, the Meccan program at UCLA, the master's program. And so then I just went full force while playing football. I would take some classes, some of the science classes at Santa Monica as well as at UCLA. So I'll go back and forth between practices and stuff like that. Just coordinate time. And it was difficult, but I was set like, all right, let's do this, and just knocked out those prereqs. And the transition, the turning point, I'd say, was pro day. So we have a pro day. I'm sure you're very aware. Baseball, you guys have a certain pro day too. At the end of your seasons, you're done playing, you have a pro day where the scouts and NFL scouts, CFL, all the leagues. So I had already applied to grad school. I did very well at pro day, very, very well. And I was getting recruited to go play in the CFL as a returner. And then the week later, I got accepted to the nursing program. And then so when I got accepted, I thought about it. I wanted something for the rest of my life and to help others that will also benefit me as a whole person. And so that's why I chose nursing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that's super encouraging, for anyone listening, that, everyone has different passions. And sometimes, like you said, it takes maybe learning about something new to find, maybe that would be, people's passion, but you don't know until you try, right? Like if you didn't go to that career fair, we don't know, right? So
exactly. I have no idea where I'd be.
People got to keep their eyes open to different opportunities, in this world. And that's cool. I'm hearing a lot of, passion from you, a lot of purpose, that you're able to, help other people. And so that's powerful, man. That makes it more meaningful, when you go to work every day. You're not, like you said, just going through the motions, doing a job you don't enjoy. You're doing something that is making an impact and making a difference. And that's powerful, man. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem, man. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask about, obviously, we're coming up on the 3-year mark for COVID, right? And that was a huge shake just for the whole world, all around. Many lives were lost, many lives were affected. A lot of people did overcome it with the help of, healthcare professionals like yourself. So definitely thankful for you and others out there, putting their self out there to help people that were affected. From your perspective, what was that like, living through and working through a global pandemic? That had to be pretty intense.
Oh man, it was a lot. It was a lot. I'd say because number one, I'd say a baby nurse. So I was only a year in. Right now I'm about three years in. But I was about a year in when the whole pandemic thing started. And it was just, for me, I was thankful that I had a job. That was number one. I was thankful. I was thankful and grateful. So that really drove me to continue to keep working, to continue to not take this COVID thing and make it a negative thing towards me, even though all in all it was negative. It sucked. But I think that from my perspective, that me being grateful that I had a job and I was able to work and to see so many people that didn't have that opportunity and were struggling, I was grateful for that. As far as the nursing perspective, it created a lot of fear in a lot of people. Of course, outside of the hospital, but also inside the hospital. Me personally, I looked at it as I'd say a challenge that if I didn't do it, then who else is going to? And so I was like, you know what? Got to do what I got to do. We got to go in, and I have a team too. It's not just me. It's me, nurses, doctors, respiratory therapists, EVS services, all the way down to the cafeteria people. Like, we are here in the hospital to do what we have to do because there's people out there that don't know what we know to help the world in this pandemic, this negative pandemic that's going on. So I think the transition inside the hospital was tough because we were constantly learning. There's new policies, CDC changing stuff like every week, and you have to wear all these PPE, blah blah blah. So it was just a lot changed, but I think that me having a perspective of trying to take a more positive perspective, as in deal with it day by day, and just literally gearing up, like, all right, go another day, boom,
Yeah.
another day, boom, another day, gotta do what we gotta do. Working together with my team was my initial take and perspective on that whole situation, and that's just how I processed my own personal thinking and getting through that. I was number one thankful. It sucked. It sucked. I wanted to
Yeah.
see my family. I couldn't see. Couldn't go home, see moms, stuff like that. But I was grateful to be in a position to help others that were struggling. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, I appreciate you sharing. I can't even imagine how difficult that must have been some days, but it probably just kept you motivated knowing that, people needed you, during that time.
Yeah.
It kept you going. Wow.
Definitely. I mean, it was just weird and different as far as things like.
Yeah.
But it was different than the normal day by day in a hospital. Just out of, it's almost like when you relate to sports, it's almost like you prepare for game day. It's like every day was like game day. I had to prepare, boom, 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 get my scrubs on, get the reports, and work with my team of professionals. To do what we got to do for our patients and for their families. So I'm with kids. I work with kids, so a lot of them were the kids would be sick, and also the parents would be sick sometimes. So it's like you would have a kid on my side, and then the mom or dad on the adult side in the hospital next door. So you have situations like that, or there's a lot of times to where parents, there's times a lot of hospitals, I think our hospital did it for a while, from what I remember, is the parents couldn't come in, or only one parent was allowed to come in. Every hospital has different policies, but that was tough on the parents and the family. Like, imagine not being able to go see your kid while he or she is in the hospital, and the COVID pandemic is going on. So it was, or not having both parents there at the same time. And
yes. Yeah.
trust me, that was a whole other thing as well that people didn't know or whatever. But yeah, we just had to do what we had to do, man.
Yeah. Wow. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, next question I wanted to ask was, Nurse Rose, just for that's his Instagram name, by the way, at Nurse. Give him a follow. But about not just someone who's maybe sick, but just in general, what are Nurse Rose's 3 tips for living a healthy life, just for general public?
Man. And just to say, I also, these tips, try to live by these as much as I can.
Yes.
But I also don't do it all the time, but I try. So that's a disclaimer. I'm not perfect.
Be perfect, right?
I'd say 3 tips to live a healthy lifestyle. Number 1, I think one of the biggest things is sleep. Sleep is super, super important. And that's something that I struggle with a lot, not getting enough sleep.
How many hours would you recommend?
How many hours do I recommend? Of course, the standard 8, if possible. Yeah. But me being a night shift nurse right now, until I go into another contract, but as a night shift nurse, we only get maybe like 5 hours max, usually, as a night shift nurse, because of the way our schedule works out, which sucks. But if you weren't in that position, I'd say at least a minimum 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. It transpires into your next day. If you have problems with insomnia, there's things like melatonin, natural medication, or meditation. One thing that I'm going with this. One thing that I really started to incorporate within the past year in my lifestyle to help with healthy lifestyle tips is meditation or self-care. And that can be fitness, meditating, getting massages, and sleep. So I'd say number one, self-care,
Yeah,
if that helps.
absolutely.
Those
All
things
with
are that's
the body and the mind, like you said.
and the body and the mind. And that's my number one right now, because it just makes a difference in your day-to-day life. And
Yeah.
you have your self-care, then you can take care of others. Because if I didn't take care of myself, then I'm not able to take care of the patients in the hospital. You know, can't be functioning with low energy or low anything. It's like it rubs off onto the people that you're trying to take care of. You know. So yeah, I'd say body and mind, number one. Number two, nutrition. Nutrition is very, very important. I love to eat. I love to eat.
He was eating a salad before we started recording.
Yeah. I just got back from the gym. I had to go real fast. Definitely having a balanced diet and nutrition. You know, not too many sweets, cutting out alcohol, fatty foods, fast foods, cutting out all that stuff as much as you can. You know, nobody's perfect. I enjoy a beer on football Sunday sometimes. So, I mean, not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but just trying to motivate yourself and trying to stay as healthy as possible nutritionally wise, and just kind of recognizing the good and the bad things that are good for yourself, you know? So I think that's important. And number three, talk about self-care, body and mind, nutrition. I'd say, you know, fitness. You know, we're kind of talking. That kind of goes with body and mind. You know? Staying healthy with physically. You know, makes a big difference on your day-to-day basis. You don't really realize that your body, everything's connected. You know, mind, your body, and everything. So as long as you hitting your workouts, whether it's 1-2 times a week, that makes a difference in your whole life. Especially your health life. Because number one, if you're working out, you're getting a cardio session 30 minutes a day, or let's say 10 minutes a day, that helps regulate your blood pressure. You know, helps your heart levels, helps your if you have any, helps prevent any diseases that may come about, you know, like cardiovascular diseases, heart defects in the future. So it could prolong your life. So working out is very, very, very important, especially to having a healthy lifestyle and keeping yourself healthy for yourself and for others, you know. So I think that's very, very important, fitness. And that's part of the reason why I have it, because why I do it. I have asthma, so I try to do what I can to try to stay in shape so I can keep my breathing in control when I'm doing extracurricular activities. Cardio helps me with that. And blood pressure, regulating blood pressure helps with especially cardio helps with that. So these are a lot of things in the hospital that cause you to get in the hospital. So if you don't want to see me work out.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. The next question I wanted to ask you was, you know, well, first I want to say those are 3 great tips. Everyone should definitely implement those. Before we move on, those are 3 great tips, you know, coming from someone who sees a lot of things, you know, in the medical field. You know, this is very important to pay attention to, you know, and so the next question I wanted to ask was kind of more on your self, personal self. You know, you are a very optimistic person, very positive person, a light, you know. At UCLA, you're always encouraging people, you know, and on social media, encouraging people, and people enjoy being around Rose. What is the key for people if they want to be more positive, would you say?
They want to be more positive. Wow. I believe that is a question that's more personal, more for the individual. You said personally, so for me, how I stay more positive, I think we talked a little about it this morning, is definitely psychological perspective. One thing why I think why I'm so encouraging or whatever is because I continue to try to be myself. You know, I think the big thing nowadays is comparing ourselves to other people. Social media is almost like I do it sometimes, don't get me wrong, I do it sometimes, but I think by us not comparing ourselves to other people and just comparing ourselves to ourselves, meaning how are you better than yourselves yesterday? How can I be better than myself yesterday, today, So like I woke up this morning, I said, okay, how can I be better to myself than I was yesterday? So after I got up, went to the gym, got my cardio in, got my food. I realized I didn't eat well yesterday, so I made sure I went to Whole Foods, got myself some good food so I can eat well today before my shift tonight. So I think that's important. And then another way I think people can try to strive to stay positive is practicing the mind, like meditation, stuff like that. But I definitely would say just being aware. First, being aware of yourself, being aware of what you're thinking, and being aware that, hey, I'm actually comparing myself to somebody else, or hey, I'm thinking negative right now. Let me try to think positive, or what can I do to make myself be positive like this? And I think the first part is being aware. When you're aware, you can bring understanding. And after that, I think the last thing, part of that is just incorporating that all together and just saying, how I think personally is instead of judging people, there's a lot of people that have a lot of things, especially by working in a hospital. It's a humbling thing because I see kids that are struggling with their lives and diseases and issues. And so it makes me wonder, like, hey, is my life really this bad? Is my life that bad to where I gotta, because I would find myself complaining about things, and I would think about the people. There's people and kids that are in the hospital that are really struggling with, and I'm sure there are a lot of people with some serious issues. And I'm like, I was complaining about dropping my container the other day, and I was cussing myself out and stressing out because I lost my favorite container. But I'm like, you relax. My life is not that bad, And if it is, then find ways to talk to people, and find that motivation. So it's just, being aware and realizing what you're thinking, what you're feeling, so you can provide understanding for yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. That was very good detailed response, and to give people some insight. No, for real though, like, you're a very intelligent person, and just making people, more aware of that and how they can be more positive. Because I think, deep down, people do want to be more positive. They want to be, experience more joy in their life, experience more peace. And Rose just gave everyone some practical ways to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it takes work, right?
It takes work. Everything takes work. And a couple of things I live by, my stepdad, he tells me all the time, he always says, don't let anybody steal your joy. Don't let anybody steal your joy. I think that's a great thing to always tell yourself. And one thing, like I said, in the hospital that reminds me, I'll give you a little story real quick. Since I'm a nurse. For instance, anything can happen any day, right? So why live that day in negativity or being miserable? Because anything, life's so short. So, like, for instance, there's a kid who normal kid, and got COVID, ended up in the ICU, lost some oxygen to the brain, and after that, basically on a ventilator and, vegetable for us, unfortunately. So things like that makes me humble, and helps drive me and makes me be more positive day by day, because anything can happen anytime. So, hey, man, let's be happy while we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't, see why not. So try. And when things come about, just handle them, if you can. I get depressed sometimes, but
absolutely,
it's just about getting through it, and, don't let it overcome you.
Yeah.
Anyways, get off my soapbox.
No, that's good. That's one of the things I really respect about you, is just, your genuineness. You tell people how it is. You tell people, how you feel, and you're real. People respect that, more than, a lot of people sometimes that just say everything's going well, everything's going great. But the realness is, like, everyone's going through something. We all have our own mental, you know what I mean? And some encouragement from someone else can go a long way, and just like us, we can give people some encouragement that can go a long way for them. Like when you're next to that bed, in the hospital, like, it's so powerful how you're able to be there for them, and that's amazing. That goes beyond, anything, that's impacting lives. That's making a real difference. So yeah, that's cool.
I got a daily practice tip for people to practice.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So you're walking on the street or you're in the store or whatever. Typically a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people will judge the person they see or whatever. Like, oh wow, like their clothing is bad. But instead of judging, bless them. Say, God bless that. Practice that. Simple practice. And watch how your mindset starts to kind of change a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do.
Absolutely. That's so powerful. It's like the energy you put out is the energy you get back too. You know what I mean? And the more you tear other people down, the more yourself is going to get tear down. So if you're, blessing other people, like you said, like, God bless you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, that is true positivity, just like you said, that's cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, simple stuff like that makes a difference,
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you, Rose, what inspires you? What are some things that inspire you the most? Would you say?
I think my family. I have my support system. My brothers inspire me. My little brothers. I'm the oldest, so I think that's what really keeps me going. To be positive positive role model for them, because I have in the past have not been a negative model to them, not role model, but negative, done things or whatever, where I think that it was a good thing because they know not to do certain things. But what keeps me going is my little brothers, man, my family. I want the best for myself, so I can, if I ever need to do anything for my brothers or for my family, to help them, or be there for them, or be in a position where I can help them, or just literally just encourage and support them, because I think that is my biggest inspiration, personally. Outside of that, I know myself, which is, it is what it is. But yeah, that's my biggest inspiration, bro. My brothers, and they're doing well. One of my little brothers, he's in dental school at UCLA.
Nice.
He's finishing up. He played football. Actually, his first year, he walked on, but he got hurt. So, but now he's in dental school. He's finishing up, so he's doing great.
Wow.
My other little brother is up north in San Jose State, and he's doing great. Finished up school and economics, and he was on Last Chance U on Netflix for the basketball team, and on other shows on Netflix. I think there's like a Lakers show that was out recently in the past year. So, anyways, yeah, that's my inspiration, man. My brothers and my family.
That's awesome. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. One last question before wrapping up here. It's been amazing, by the way. I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, man. It's great always talking to a good friend,
Yeah, absolutely. So, you went from football, which is a physically tough sport, mentally tough sport, and now you're in nursing, and it's still, physically and mentally tough, the grind, working those late night shifts, being there for people, giving it your all, being present every day. I wanted to ask you, what are some things you do in your life to help bring balance into your life? You know what I mean? Like some hobbies and passions that you enjoy doing outside of work that fill you up, would you say?
That's something that's very, one of the hardest things to do is have a balance. I think I was just talking about this other day with my friend is time. I feel like a lot of times I feel like there's not enough time in the day. You know, I'm like, oh, am I running out of time? And so like, so you're like, I want to do this and that because I got to do this, but it's like you almost run out of time. So having a balance, I think for me, staying organized, which is difficult, but my schedule and planner is like everything. And, you know, it's just staying organized and having to balance stuff outside of work. I like to travel. I love to travel and get away from everything, you know, and then, you know, come back. I love traveling. That's one of my things that keeps me balanced. Traveling, exploring the world, my family, spending time with my family, my mom, my dad, my brothers, my family is another thing. And then I'd say balance outside of work and then self-care.
Yeah.
I think those three things. And I love sports, of course. You know, I still watch sports, and I try to get little leagues here and there. You know, I did a couple of flag football leagues. I did some basketball league past week. So you know, still stay active. So that's also a huge balance. But that's part of my self-care. So yeah, self-care, family, and they definitely traveling.
That's awesome. That's awesome. If you could travel anywhere in the world that you haven't been yet, where would you travel?
I got a couple. So there's a few places I really want to go to. I want to check out Tokyo. I really want to check out Tokyo. I want to go to the Maldives, and then I want to check out Thailand and the Philippines. I want to check those three places out. Those are kind of like my next ones on the list that I want to go to. Been to some amazing places. I encourage people, you know, hey, if you haven't traveled, definitely try to explore a little bit. It can be, a lot of people are scared. For instance, I have a couple family members that are scared, but, you know, hey, even if you travel to San Diego and stay in a resort or a hotel and stay by the water for a couple of days, it's great to get away from your day-to-day lifestyle. If you can. It's not hard, but I don't have kids yet, so trying to enjoy what I can, do what I can.
Absolutely. Well, awesome. So how can people follow you? I mentioned Instagram at nurse.rose. I'm pretty sure it's that, right?
Yeah.
Nurse.rose. How else can people follow you and, you know, your journey and things like that? Yeah,
you know, and I try to be as responsive as I can. A lot of people ask a lot of questions about nursing and self-care and stuff like that, and that's great. You know, I'm always open to that. So anybody feel free to reach out to me. I try to get back to her as soon as possible. I'm very busy, but like I said, I try my best. And then, I think that's the best way.
Instagram's the best way, though?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Thank you all for tuning in to the Galvanize with Gavin podcast. I hope you were inspired and empowered to reach your fullest potential in life. For more resources, visit gavinjohns.com. For businesses interested in sponsoring the podcast, visit gavinjohns.com/sponsor. Thank you all, and God bless.